trading pin for our Sabre group here in Williamsport.
Thank you very much.
And before we start, Nicole Rader from the James V. Brown Library for all of her assistance. Dave, there you go.
Okay. Thank you for that introduction. So I'm going to talk about a few different aspects of my career. We're going to start with Little League World Series. We're going to go on to the Cutters work, and then kind of a generic baseball in the Bay Area around the Bonds home run, and then Moneyball. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, great. Feel free to ask questions at any time. I do tend to get a little talky, so that's cool. I love answering questions. I did bring a bunch of stuff. I'll hold some of it up, but y'all are welcome to come up and look at it afterwards. And there you go. So I did start here as a photographer in about '94. That was the first credential I got. I believe, yeah. December 31st, 1994, signed by, this is my Williamsport Sun-Gazette press pass, signed by Dave Troisi, who was in attendance. I realized early in my college work that photography was the thing to me, the thing I needed to pursue. My wife got me into that, basically, and I take credit for getting her into newspapers, and she's the editor of the Sun-Gazette now. I don't, at the paper now, I am what's called the director of special projects, which means I do anything basically anyone asks me to do, which is taking photos, doing video, doing a lot of website work, social media. I tend to do the late night posts on our Facebook page, just to kind of keep a not quite a 24-hour news cycle of availability going on. But so usually the late night posts on the Sun-Gazette's Facebook are usually ones that I've done, especially if there's some breaking news internationally or nationally. That's kind of like what I like to do. In addition to during the summer, obviously I work for the Crosscutters. I'm dressed like this for a reason. This is what I normally wear, right down to my orange shoes that people who go to the games know me. This is the first time that I've worn these since the championship game, and it'll be the last time I wear these because I'm retiring them. Along with my championship hat. This is my hat that I wore last season, and it was completely soaked with champagne after the championship that we won. I say we because I am considered part of the team, even though I'm a game day employee. It's been one of the great joys of my life because I never was an athlete. To be considered part of any team, even though I'm just taking photos, it means a lot to me to be part of the team and considered part of the team. And I'll talk about gear a little bit later. So one of the important things we do covering the Little League World Series is we kind of get the backstory of, or the stories behind the series when we can. So to lead up to the series last year, we interviewed one of the original Little League players. This is Dick Hauser. We interviewed him, I think 3 weeks before about 3 weeks before he passed away, unfortunately. He passed away, I think the day after he was at Lomedy to get inducted or recognized at Lomedy. And I unfortunately didn't take any photos of him the day that he was there. I did get to give him a hug and thank him for allowing Karen and I to go do this interview. And that's why the picture's in black and white, because I wanted to kind of give a little gravity to being able to meet him And it was a real pleasure to be able to talk about how, to get firsthand information about the Little League World Series and Little League in general and how it started. I actually, now that I've been a photographer in the area here and doing so much baseball in the area, this area has such a rich baseball history. It's been pretty, I don't know, surprising to me, I guess I'd say, but how much the area is really committed to baseball. It would be nice if we had a baseball museum that wasn't the Little League Museum, because I think a generic baseball museum in the area I think would be pretty important to do, and give Carl Stotts just a little more credit than he's gotten, which hasn't been as much as I think he deserves, quite frankly. So did get to spend some time and interview Mr. Hauser, and he signed a ball for a young kid while we were there that I thought was pretty cool. Just kind of the shaky hand, and I don't know, it was just really special to be able to talk to somebody that had been involved in the first Little League. So during the Little League World Series, one of the things I get to do is to cover the baseball parade, which, as you all know, is not part of actually an event. It's not technically part of the Little League World Series. It's held by the Chamber of Commerce. This is me. Someone, I think it's probably Karen, took the screenshot or a picture of this from the Channel 16 feed. There you see orange shoes. And down here off camera was my friend Nick from Albright Studio. I do some work for them, and it's been great being able to work with them. Yet another part-time job or extra job that I have to work for. But you see, this was pretty much that previous moment. I carry a GoPro on a stick, and on a selfie stick, so I can get up high. Obviously, you can't really get too great an angle with the kids that are up on the floats on the backs of the 18-wheeler flatbeds. So I have to carry the GoPro is pretty much my go-to. I don't really do a lot of photos from that. It's mostly video. We have a stringer, usually a freelancer. I'm going to be using a lot of photo slang. Feel free to ask what the words are, but there will be a lot of that here because I just kind of fall into photo slang. So gear is actually pretty important for the job that I do, because you have to have the right tool for a job. And there you go, is another GoPro shot, probably a screen grab from video. Fan pictures are really important. I usually try to get as many of the international fans as possible, and we have a girl or two each year, and we usually do a story about them. All the teams and the kids, the coaches are usually really great, and it's a real joy to be able to cover the series, just because it's really cool to see kind of how different people approach baseball, and how what baseball means to different people, how they express their joy about baseball. Everyone does this differently, and the Asian fans are fairly reserved. They all have kind of very deliberate chants that they do, which I think is really awesome. The Latino fans, and I know this is painting with a broad brush, but it's true. The Latino fans generally are just so happy, so excited, so jubilant all the time. And usually early in the series, we have two stringers that go to the games. They usually get the action from usually the first week of the series, and I kind of focus on doing features, reaction, detail photos, which I'll show a lot of. So like the fan reaction pictures that you see in the paper, a lot of those are mine, because I'm up in the stands just waiting for them to react, waiting for them to cheer and chant. And I try to get that peak chant, that peak action while they're celebrating. And usually I end up getting on the front page because of that. So that's cool. This last year we did we're always desperate to try to do different stories at the series, because some people, well, we've kind of rolled through some staff, but every year that you do it, you think to yourself, oh no, what can I do a little different this year than we did last year? It's a killer to try to figure out, we can't do the pin collecting because we do that every year in some way. We can't do, like the sliding down the hill. We did it a little bit differently this year. We did a story about different hill sliders, I called them. So this was the lead image for the story we did. I was waiting for Julie Foudy to do this. I shot this from the photo dugout on the first base side at Lomity with a very long lens. So this happened during or in between innings is when ESPN usually stages this stuff. And I knew I was waiting for that to be my lead image for the hill slider story. You'll see another couple pictures here and there of this as well. But so, we're always trying to get different ways to illustrate the life at Little League. Another fan photo. This is a mix of years. This isn't just one year. So I'm usually looking for, pardon me, some way of telling a different story each time I go, like I said. And we're always, kind of presented with the same all the time. And it's a struggle to get out of the habit of just sitting in the photo dugout, just going to get lunch, going back to the dugout, going to get a snack, going, sit in a certain area to get action. So that's why I like just shooting features usually the first week, because it gets me out of my comfort zone and it forces me to look for other ways to cover the story. This was a personal thing for me. Obviously, I mentioned Carl Stotts before. I always try to want to highlight, the thing that maybe people overlook and the history of the place if I can. And obviously, Carl played, the pivotal role in baseball and Little League. But I love the statue. I love that it's flanked with different kinds of color and then the green behind it. And it was a perfect day to shoot this, because if it would have been a bright, sunny day with really, really harsh light, it wouldn't have given the kids' faces kind of even light on them. So I sat here, and this is kind of a recurring thing you'll hear about. I sat here for probably 15 minutes photographing teams walking by until I got just this placement. I didn't just machine gun through every time. Well, I did machine gun through every time they walked by, but I wanted to get this gap to get the complete statue framed with the kids, and then you're looking for as closed composition as possible, meaning something doesn't go off the edge. It does go off the edge here because I wanted to get the end of the tree. So every bit of frame and the light at the top, every bit of this is intentional. There's nothing haphazard about this when I'm shooting. I'm completely focused on the framing of the subject, the moving subjects, the light, the color, and I would have preferred that the kids not be here, so it would have been a gap here and a gap here just to close the composition, because it's technically what's called an open composition when you have something on the edge of the frame that goes off of the frame. Yes, I go to that level of OCD while I'm thinking about this stuff. If I can, that's what I do all the time. And obviously this is as much about photography as it is about baseball stuff. So I hope that's not too boring for most of you. Always looking for photos to tell the story of kids having a good time there. Again, this photo was at the end of the day, quite obviously. I sat, this is at Volunteer. So this is the lights for Volunteer. And, you know, if you know the way the Series complex is laid out, you usually get a nice sunset. I waited every day to get clouds, because clouds are really what you want for a sunset. No clouds, sunset's boring. So I tried to frame everything again. You see all of the objects in even the stuff that's just black. I love silhouettes, as my wife can tell you. I fall into the habit of doing them over and over and over again. I sat on the ground with this lens on the camera, and I probably sat there for half an hour. I only got a little bit of great light, but I was waiting for a silhouetted person to be able to tell the story. I got also a clean silhouette of one person. There was some of them where it was just kind of blocked people, and it didn't fill the frame nicely. And then the kid drinking the soda, as soon as that kid, I saw him coming, I thought, oh shit, there it is. And then I machine gunned through all the frames, and I got that one where he was just framed the way I wanted it, with the soda straw. You knew what he was doing. It doesn't matter. This could be at any baseball game, anywhere. That's what I'm always looking for, is something that it's kind of transcendent. It's not just that one game. It's baseball. It's summer. That's what I'm usually trying to tell with the photos. You'll see much more of this as I go through the other kind of topics here. Details of things. Again, we're trying to tell the story every year, and how do you tell that story differently every year is you look for the different things that are going on specifically that year. The Tops folks are a group of people that go around in the van. They're from Tops. They give away, I think, 150,000 cards every summer, packs of cards every summer. And then they have the give a card, leave a card wall, but they only have it the first week. Probably more information than you wanted to know, but here we go. So again, always trying to find the details in different ways to show the card wall, but not the card wall. It could be at any baseball field, anywhere where they give a card, leave a card kind of thing. And I'm always looking for reflections and silhouettes and stuff like that. You'll see another reflection a little later on. Story about the pins. This was the largest pin ever. It was a British umpire. Always looking for light and shadow. This photo is basically a blatant ripoff of Neil Holloway, who did a really amazingly beautiful photo silhouette from the other side of the center field TV kind of stand. And he did this absolutely gorgeous silhouette of a bunch of people. And I had tried to knock that off. I had tried to replicate that. And it's taken me until last year to get this. And I was pleased to have, the circle kind of puts this person in the middle. So it's kind of framing them in the middle. Again, I'm always looking for that. It was intentional to get the lights just where they are, and the exposure just where it is. This wasn't something that I made into a silhouette. It was there when you looked at it. So it's again, everything is intentional, even if it doesn't look like it. There you go, hill sliders. You can get this picture pretty much any night that you're there in the evening. This is the baseball, the big baseball right outside Lomity. And you can see it's a silhouette of a dad and his daughter looking at it. And again, framing. This is Lomity. This is the big ball. It says "Welcome to the World Series." And then, I'm always looking for the nice night, again, when there's clouds, to get a nice sunset. And I'm always looking for a different way to shoot a sunset and weather pretty much every time that I'm there. Details, always looking for details. the ball hit off the kid's shoe. I happened to get it. Hill sliders. After it's gotten a little more gooey, it's usually these are the mud. I call these the mud twins. These little boys hadn't been here before until this time. Excuse me. And this was clean at this point. He and his brother, this is his brother right here. I think he was 7 and he was, I think, 9 or 10. They were caked in mud by the time they were done. And the mom took them over to the, next to the bathrooms.
The shower.
Yeah, there's like a shower thing. There's a spigot with a short hose. And there's always a whole bunch of kids there. Now, obviously, you're taking pictures of kids showering off. That's going to be a little questionable, so I did talk to the parents ahead of time. I'm like, look, I'm not a crazy man. Well, I am, but I'm telling you who I am. So I want to get the pictures of these kids. I don't think I included them here, but I did get a picture of them having a fight with the water back and forth. That was pretty fun, too. Rain. It always rains. It's the summer. Every time it rains, I got to go out and get a rain photo. This is technically Little League World Series because this is obviously from the MLB Classic. Rashawn talking with Alex Baum. And here's, what's his name, Stott. I know. I'm a photographer, not a baseball person, technically. But so, we telling the story of the Phillies' arrival, the MLB people, God love them, are very strict about even where we can be as part of the team. We had to stay on the opposite side of the bus, on the grass area. We were not allowed to approach the Phillies as they came out. The only way we could have contact with the Phillies is if the Phillies approached us. And there was 5 of us from the team there, including Rashawn. Gabe was there. I think Nate was there. And maybe Sarah. And anyway, so it was really weird because they had like 3 MLB people kind of corralling us on the grass. And then, Alex Baum and these other guys came up to us. Oh, okay, so it's okay. Now you can interact with them. It's a little peculiar, but kind of behind the scenes. So Rashawn got to celebrate with them.
Beautiful.
Details. This picture, as you can see, this is 2 different years, 2023 and 2024. This is one place you can get this picture. You have to have at least a 18 millimeter or wider lens. I always carry a super wide or a fisheye for the Classic specifically. Usually for other baseball games as well. But for the Classic, there's one place you can kind of get this overall kind of scene-setting photo that kind of sets the stage, so to speak, literally and figuratively, actually, for the Classic. And there's usually me and the AP photographer is up there and whoever from out-of-town press. And usually 3 or maybe 4 of us up there shooting this one moment, this one frame. And somehow, inexplicably, they start the game so early that you can't really see the fireworks. So you do your best with the fireworks in broad daylight. But it's a picture that I try to get each year for the Classic because I'm there for the paper and I'm there for the cutters. We usually get a guest. As you can see, this is W. I've had the pleasure of photographing him a number of times over my career. When I worked in Binghamton, I photographed him there when he was campaigning. His first campaign was when I was there. And then a little later, as we were walking off the field, he and I got to talking. I think Gene Pushkar from the AP took this for me. Gene is, if you ever see a photographer there, skinny guy with a kind of a floppy kind of desert hat on. That's Gene Pushkar. He's been shooting for probably 50 years for the AP. He is an absolute epic photographer. and he was gracious enough to take the photo of me here with W, and he sent this to me afterwards, and I can't thank him enough.
What do you have on your lens? Is it?
That's a mic. That's a mic. I carry. I actually have it here with me. It's a microphone that. Oh no, it's right there. It's on the camera. It's what's called a dead cat. It's a wind cutter downer. It diffuses the wind on the mic so you don't get all that puffing from wind noise, which there is quite a bit that you get even on a calm day. There's a lot of pop, pop, pop that you'll get in the sound, and the dead cat cuts that down. It's, again, photo slang. Visitors to the Classic, I'm always trying to get as many people in the stands as possible for the photos because, we don't get a full house every game. We would like to, of course. So I'm always trying to get the stands for the team, for the marketing photos with as many people as possible because Gabe doesn't want to see photos of empty stands at the stadium. So I got to pick and choose. Most of the Classic, I'm not shooting action. I'm looking for features like this that tell sort of, again, a generic baseball story. As Gabe always says, we're not selling the steak, we're selling the sizzle. We're selling the idea of being at a baseball game, not the actual moment at the game itself. And, getting kids, even though they're little leaguers, of course, walking in and out of the stadium, is really important. So as soon as I can, near the end of the game, I go out and sit, and I think I probably took 500 or 600 frames of just this moment. All different kids walking out, because you never know when you're going to get, someone's butt in your photo that'll ruin it. Like Nick and I always talk about getting ref butt in your photo. It's like a photographer thing, is you're always getting blocked by a ref. Of course, all the best photos that you miss. Naturally, it's the ref's fault. So, never mind. So, waiting for just the right moment when people are looking at me, people are reacting, getting the nice light. Every bit of this is intentional. Nothing haphazard about any of it. Just running off the field, placing him at the stadium, kids enjoying the game at the stadium. Again, it's not about the action that night. Looking for other ways to tell the story of the action. The ball going over the wall at Lomity for a home run. Just a pretty nothing pop-up play, but it's a pretty cool photo. I think so. You don't usually ever get. Again, this is a closed composition. You see, there's nothing cut off. The hand isn't cut off. I mean, it's a little closed because of the feet, but getting the whole. This is basically full frame from the photo dugout. So it was incredibly rare to get two players, a ball, the reaction, all that kind of thing, and decent light, because you can see the shadows are really, really harsh, and especially if you have a fairly dark-skinned subject, that's always a concern. So, it matters. Reaction is all over the place. Jube, as we call it, Jube. You're always looking for those quiet moments between the players, and then the not-so-quiet moments. I learned in the last few years for the championship game, I am never at the normal inside the park photo areas. Never anymore. Because everybody else gets those photos. I don't give a shit about that. I want to get my own stuff. I want to get something different that the AP won't have. The AP, Associated Press, has two photographers at the series, usually just one shooting each game. For the championship game, and I have them in one of the frames here, they always stay at the first and third base dugouts. I don't want the same photos everybody else is getting, So I learned a few years ago to be at the left field side. In the outfield, there's a TV kind of a tower, a little one, and I sit right under it with this long lens, and that's the only place I shoot the entire game from, is with this lens, which actually makes for kind of a nice day because I don't have to worry too much about shooting other things. I do shoot some fan photos, usually with a fairly wide angle lens, but my goal is to get this, because this will always be iconic. Kids running with the banner. Usually, you know, you get a moment where you can see the year on it. So I'm always kind of considering how to get that photo, that one storytelling photo, from the same kind of moment. I think they ran back out, and that's how I got the coaches out there. There's the AP guy. This is Tom, Gene's brother, who's a photographer in Ohio. And this is, his nickname is Boomer. He's an ESPN guy, and he's here every year. He is the guy that, if anybody knows me, I can be a little grouchy. My mom is probably laughing now. Boomer is always in a good mood. It pisses me off how anyone can be that friendly and that happy all the time. In any case, the moment of jubilation, the jube, running, this first base is right here, he's running towards second, and he's facing me. Again, I'm the only one out there. I'm the only one getting these moments because I'm forcing myself to be in the difficult place that I never usually shoot baseball from the outfield. So it's like the game comes at you in a different way. It's all backwards. It's really hard to see the game from that different angle and get something. But I learned years ago now that you get stuff like this because they unintentionally. He was the first kid to get there. He was so excited he jumped up and grabbed it and pulled it out. And of course, Little League, I'm sure, would have been apoplectic about the icon. It's not actually Carl Stotts, although it should be. It's Blomedy. Anyway, so they ran out. They tore the head down, the bust down, and I'm the only one that got it from that angle because everyone was at the photo areas. This is the photo we ran as lead. We're always looking for the poster for the front page. So this is a celebration from last year, and we cropped it into this to make it vertical on the front page because the front page is always vertical. It's always the front page is always the poster. So yeah, again, outfield. Nobody in any of the other photo areas would have gotten something like this where you can see faces. Any photographer will tell you, or the good ones, I think, will tell you no face, no photo. If you don't see a face, it better be great in some other way if there's no face in your photos, because I've not used some pretty decent photos that just had no faces. So if you're getting celebration but you can't see people, you've screwed up. Holy crap, I talked for 45 minutes already. I am sorry.
Dave, keep going.
Yep, I will be.
Yep.
So, cutters. Kind of behind the scenes, scenic stuff is always what I'm looking for because I'm there every game. Again, trying to get the sizzle, not the steak. Batting practice, I'm out sitting behind the BP pitcher. I'm sitting on the mound with the balls flying over my head, whizzing by. Pre-game talk, batting practice in the cages, our manager, food eating contest that we do every year. It's pretty disgusting, but it always makes for great photos. I'm allowed to go out on the field. Pretty much I'm allowed to go anywhere to get the photos that I want to get at the cutters. That's one of the things I'm really, as a photographer, getting the access to the areas that you don't normally get is huge. Details, always looking for details, looking for reflections, something to tell the story. I happen to get just the ball in focus.
Amazing.
Completely luck, although 10,000 frames later, you get lucky. Details, feet. Looking for photos of people that certain times the players, they do certain things when they celebrate, which will be a recurring theme shortly. Every time this guy did something great, they would splash him with water. So this was I've taken this picture 3 times this last year because I knew that they would do that. Batter reacting to me, pointing at me. On the bench, getting access, getting field access, taking pictures wherever I want. I have the luxury of being able to do that. Media day, the first day that the players are meeting each other. Always looking for a nice scenic photo. I do probably too many of them, but whatever. I get field access, of course, after the game to take the photos that I want. Guys goofing, always looking for photos of guys goofing. National anthem, always looking for photos that are iconic. Kids run the bases. It's something that we do every Sunday. Details, marketing photo. It's not a picture of a player, it's a picture of baseball as a theme. Well, how many different ways can you shoot a glove on the field? A lot is the answer. Because they can reuse these photos every year for years to come because it is just a baseball photo. The icon of the ball and the hat and the logo. How many different ways can you shoot the ball and the hat? Well, a million, because they can use this photo forever. Again, it's just about the brand. It's not about the game, but it is about the game. Details. Guy running to second base on a steal. Beautiful night. It's one of my favorite pictures ever taken. Just a guy swinging, getting batting practice. That beautiful summer light just rim lit down his face with the black. Getting that moment of the bat splitting on a cracked. We had fog one game ever, and it stopped the game. And I busted my butt to get a photo of that fog. Beautiful sunset. This is where I didn't ever get out to the Monument Park in the middle Yankee Stadium, but this is an iconic moment that I've always wanted to get. Any pitcher running out of the bullpen to relief. And a friend of mine who died during COVID, Anthony Causey, got the photo of Sandman, Mariano Rivera, running out of the bullpen at Yankee Stadium. And it's the whole stadium and just Mo. And I've always thought, oh, that really wish I would have gotten that photo. So I've gone out to the bullpen, usually closer to the middle, the end of the season, because once I'm out there, it's kind of hard to get back. I can walk on the field in between innings just like the players do. I try not to go out during gameplay, but I usually try to follow them. Light, always looking for light. It's a summer day, summer night, you can tell that. Pre-game, wetting down the field. Yes, there's always good photos to make. You just have to find them. That summer rim lit, very harsh light. It's a hot night, you can tell. You can't really see, he's got a crucifix here. Always looking for that light. Troy Taylor now pitches for the Mariners. Right before he left, I made this portrait of him. Not a great portrait. It was kind of a grab, you-know-what photo, because I knew he was leaving, and he was a good prospect, and, now he's been called up. So I asked him right before the game, can I take a photo of you? Fireworks. Fireworks every Saturday night. If you don't know, please come. I've shot fireworks now from pretty much every angle that I can figure out. It's helped me to shoot fireworks, which are a very difficult thing to shoot. As you can see, this is home plate. So what I do is I set up a tripod that takes a long time exposure, about 15-second time exposure, with a very wide angle lens, because they can use these, and they have used these recently in the marketing stuff that the cutters use. You all have it. That the cutters use for the hey, come out to the park, hey, there's fireworks kinds of promotional things. So I'm always looking for this kind of thing that goes, it's an evergreen, as we call it.
Yeah.
These were the original guys from the beginning of the season that were still there by the last game. Just general action. Action is important. It's the best bean picture series I've ever gotten. The first one was him actually being hit. This was actually the ball after it left his cheek. But the action, I'll shoot the first 3 innings for the team. I'll get some action, and then I'll finish up the game because I have to send pictures to the paper and give the cutters early game pictures so they can have them for the end of game little card that they send out. They say the cutters won 5-6 or something or whatever, and they have a picture in there, so I have to give them a variety of pictures during the game, from the game. There's only 2 or 3 seats in the whole stadium you can get this frame, and because I'm there so often, I know where those seats are. I shot that with this, and being able to get a clean picture of no signs in the background is nearly impossible at Bowman, but there you go. Celebrating when we won the championship. I'm going around like a madman. Jacob Corson, a local kid from Hughesville, team celebrating. I was on the field with them. I was drenched. The hat, the shoes. I was literally drenched. Anthony Markle. And celebrating. There you go. We won the championship. Now, general baseball. Spring training in Arizona. I covered the Giants and the Mariners for UPI. Yes, they were still a thing 20-some years ago now. So just getting pictures of whomever doing whatever to try to tell a story of spring training. Tyoshi Shinjo and Bonds. Shinjo is a particularly gregarious guy, which was nice to be able to get, a nice friendly guy to be able to take photos of. Regular season, Bonds stretching out before an at-bat. He didn't always hit home runs. He usually would flip a bat when he struck out. So again, knowing your subject, really important. Knowing what your subject is likely to do makes your job a lot easier. Getting forced out at second base. Again, struck out, hit his helmet with his bat. Upset because he struck out. You're always looking for different stuff to get. Now this picture is pretty much a failure because it's out of focus. This is Bonds with his dad after a home run. His dad was there. This might have been 600 actually. I think it was 600. And the camera back focused, and it focused back here rather than up here. I was there for the game for Reuters, and I sent it to the desk editor, and I said, look, this is really out. I'm sorry I blew it. He's like, no. We'll move it. Move it means put it on the Reuters wire so it can be used by news agencies. And this was a contents page picture in Sports Illustrated. It was a fairly small photo, which was great because it's fairly out of focus. But so I was just really thrilled to be able to get that, obviously. They're kind of mixed around here. Bonds just make it fielding a ball. Nice because you can see his earring. But so, you're always looking for different stuff to tell the story of, even if your player's on a home run streak. Here you go, home run, bat on ball, or bob as we call it. You're always looking to get the bat and the ball as close together as possible. I don't do it as often as Nick does and Danielle does from Albright, but I do my best. People celebrating. This was shot from right field with a long lens, not this lens. Another home run. They all kind of flowed together at that point. Bonds was great because he would usually celebrate, point up at the sky, and he would kind of do the same things every time, so you got to kind of perfect what you were doing. Shooting from overhead, mixing up the shooting positions, forcing your yourself out of your comfort zone, and getting an overall of the moment. They were down here, or he's running the bases, or wherever the hell he is. He's already off. And just getting not just the player, but getting the moment is really important. One of a million pointing at the skies after home runs. It got to be really, really, really another home run. De rigueur, to see him celebrating, hitting the home runs. So you're always looking for different stuff each time. Celebrating with the son. Celebrating with teammates. And trust me, I pulled out a lot of photos. These are all different home runs. None of them are the same. Him with his daughter. Yet again, kind of left center field with a long lens, 577. They were great because they always had there's another one from right center, a different home run, or left center rather. That is, I think, 600. Yep. Another content page picture in Sports Illustrated. I had, I think, maybe six pictures in SI before SI stopped being a thing. 73. I'm going to be ordering my championship ring soon for the Cutters. Last one, I promise. Sorry to go so long with this. Spring training. This is the A's, sort of the general Moneyball stuff. Spring training in Arizona. Just trying to tell the story a different way. There it is. I've seen the movie Moneyball because that's what we all kind of call it now. But at the time, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know it would be such a history-making thing. You see, that's funny to see him just in flip-flops and shorts taking the media day pictures. Always looking for patterns. Always looking for a light that gets on an object, the subject. Always looking for reactions. Him just goofing. He's a pretty outgoing, really nice guy. And it was an absolute pleasure to be able to photograph him as many times as I did. And just elected to the Hall of Fame, of course. So, looking to place the subject in a recognizable place, palm trees. Not common at what is Pac Bell now? What was Pac Bell then? More spring training. Kind of a media day. This was in San Francisco. Not the obvious photo of him swinging the bat, because who gives a damn about that? This was taken from the press box at whatever they call Pac Bell now. It'll always be Pac Bell to me. This is a reflection in the windows that drop down and close in the media press box, in the press box. So to get this photo, I saw that there was a reflection. Again, I'm always looking for reflections. I stood on the desk in the media room because, you know, I'm little and all, in case you haven't noticed. So to get the reflection, I had my head basically jammed up against the top of the glass to get enough of the reflection that it would look like this, to try to get something different from each game, even though, you know, you're going to a million games. Vlad Guerrero, always looking for, especially if you're working for a wire service, your focus is usually on the out-of-town teams. You're sending photos not for the market you're in, but the market that isn't there to send people to. So you're serving the AP, and you're serving the Montreal, whatever the paper is there, New York Times, or whoever it is. So you're always looking for, especially in the early games, you get 2 to 3 innings when you're working for a wire, and then you have to send photos early game as quickly as possible, and then get out and shoot end of game. So you need 2 to 3 photos from the beginning of the game, and then you finish the game up and try to tell the story, having usually only seen about 6 innings of a game, maybe 5 innings of a game, because you're usually back sending photos for at least 2 to 3 halves of an inning. So you miss usually 2 full innings of a game, if not 3 sometimes. So you're trying to jam to really get the photos taken. It's a really hard thing to do, to get something that'll work for an early game photo by the end of the game. So the picture of the pitcher is something you always go for. Yes, Phil?
Can you go back just before you had 5 people sitting on a chair?
Yeah, you probably recognize some of them, don't you?
Just tell us a little bit tell us the story there.
This was just recognizing the old timers that were there. So anybody, you all know these people. Who are we looking at here? Hank Aaron, of course. Willie Mays. Yep. And they all just, this was like, they were recognizing Hank Aaron at the game. That was it. And, you know, you're there for the AP. They're going to say, well, Hank Aaron was there. Did you get the photo of the moment? But did you also get, and this is distasteful, but it's the way you do this, did you get the death photo? Meaning a picture of the person in case it was their last photo of them taken. I had done this a number of times when I had shot NASCAR for the AP in San Francisco at Sonoma. You go to the media kind of pen where they do the pre-race announcements, and you try to nail as many of the drivers as you can in case, nail meaning photos, mugshots like this, in case they die in the race, or in case it's their last moment, that they're publicly seen. It's just how this works. So everybody has photos for the obit. That's just in case. That's how it works. And, you know, you want to cover the event. You want to get a nice photo. Dusty Baker's kid, who was a bat boy that year, and now he's probably in the major leagues now, probably. Who knows? Always try to look for nice scenic photos to tell a story of kind of, a night at the park. Celebrating to go to the World Series. That moment of Jube is terrifying, absolutely terrifying, because you're trying to get faces in the maelstrom, in the craziness. You're trying to get that reaction. You're trying to get that storytelling photo. You don't always get it. You blow it. Most often, a motor drive, a camera that shoots really freaking fast is a big help. Phil, do you need to go?
I hope not.
Phil's our police and fire reporter, which you all probably know. I shot the World Series for Reuters from center field. Karen and I were both there. She was there for the Examiner. I was there for Reuters. So technically, this photo is a failure. I was never hired by Reuters again after this series of photos because I blew it, because I didn't get the photo that didn't actually happen. If you go back, and I have, to this World Series game when the Angels won, they all ran out, and I was at the World Series in center field for Reuters to get one photo. That didn't happen. I was out there to get the photo of the catcher jumping into the pitcher's arms. It didn't happen. The problem was a digital camera has what's called a buffer, so you can only take so many pictures before the camera has to download them to the image card. The camera that I had at the time only had about a 16 or 20 frame buffer, and I did what's called buffered out, and that's what we called it. So when he came running out, I got excited. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get the picture. We get the picture. The camera slowed down, and it wouldn't take the photos. And Reuters said that I missed the moment, but it didn't happen because he never jumped. There he was coming into frame, but he didn't jump into his arms. He just kind of bear hugged him. But I was told that I failed, and Reuters never used me again. But I think I got some darn nice photos.
They're great.
Well, they're okay. So again, celebrating. I mean, I don't think it's a failure, but people have expectations. Celebrating World Series. Okay, Moneyball. Waiting for the 19th game outside. Lots and lots of fan photos. You're always looking to get fan photos when you're covering a big event for the wires. Something to tell the story aside from just the game action. You always got a streaker for some reason in Oakland. Yes, he was a true streaker. Justice trying, actually I think this ball he punted over the wall off the heel of his glove, I think. I'm not sure. But so this was the Moneyball game. This was the 19th, the game to win 19. I was the only one there. I was one of about 15 photographers at the game. I had been let go at the Examiner, and I was a freelancer at that point in San Francisco. I was a staffer at the Examiner for a year. They let me go when they downsized, and I became a freelancer in the area. So I was at the game for the AP, and all the other papers, photographers, the other shooters were behind me. There was me and I think 6 or 8 people there. I'll tell you why this matters. So we're all kind of getting the same stuff. I had to stay in the safe spot. So I had shot so many A's games that I knew that when Miguel Tejada came up to bat and he would do something good, he would run down the first base line and jube. He would jump, kick up his heels, pump his fists, whatever you want to call it. So I was ready with a short telephoto lens and a camera that I actually borrowed from my wife. It was an Examiner camera that I used that day because it shot faster than a camera I owned. So that's the moment of him hitting the home run at the bottom of the ninth to win the 19th game in a row. This is the series. This photo was, I was the only one to get this series. I got what I call a solo kill. Everybody else was behind me from all the other local papers. I was the only one to get this moment. This picture was used in every major paper in the U.S. the next day. I got lead sports art, the New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, every Bay Area paper, even though they had their own shooters there, I got it. This was the best moment of my career, basically, because this got crazy national play. The next day after I shot this, I got a page from the AP early in the morning, and I called the AP, excuse me again, I called the AP and the Associated Press, the Bay Area office, and Ben Margot, who's a staffer there, picked up, and I said, "Hey, what's up, Ben?" He said, "Do you know what you did?" And I instantly just about had a heart attack. I thought, oh my God, I'm never getting hired again. He's like, like, and he repeated it. I'm like, what are you talking about? What did I do? What did I screw up? He's like, no, you got national play. And they know what papers used it. And he's like, you absolutely killed it. After this game, I worked basically every night for the AP for the rest of the year. Another photo in the series, because I had the fast shooting camera. This one I cropped because the full frame version of it, as you see here, his toe was off, which bothered the shit out of me that I didn't get the toe in. So there's the screen grab of the AP photo. So it's got all the documentation there that I couldn't even remember. I mean, it's not even a meg photo. It's tiny by today's standards, and the colors aren't great on the photo. But you know, yep.
On that last photo, if you're not on salary as a regular employee, how do you get paid like on a real good picture like that?
Weekly, and I mean very weekly. I'm on a contract with the AP, a daily contract basically. So you sign the agreement, as they call it, and you basically get paid per game a flat fee. I think it was $325 then. That's what Karen's reminded me. It's about $325 a game, and that's it. They own all the rights to the photos. I can't do anything with the photos commercially, but I'm allowed to show them. For Reuters, it's different. For Reuters, they take the photo that you move, they own that, but otherwise the outs, as we call them, the other photos are yours to do with whatever you want. So it was kind of nice then. I don't know if you can do it anymore, but you could sell all your photos, your outs, to a photo agency and make money from those. But you're not making much money. I mean, a photo like this, just getting it is the big thing. Because, you know, who gets a national photo? Not many. Anyway, so I get to say I got this photo. That's all I get, which is cool enough. I'm happy with that. So we're almost done here. But so this is the scene, again, from that moment, them celebrating. So in the movie, and the A's photographer in my frame on the bottom left there, this is the next day when they went to the 20th game. This is where you see in the movie Billy Beane, Brad Pitt, driving in circles in the parking lot because he couldn't watch the game. Again, this is from that night. Just trying to get scene-setting photos. Justice booting one again when they were going to tie it up. Now at this point, I am absolutely. I would do this as a slate card. This picture wasn't intended to be ever published. It's so I knew that in the series of photos, every photo after this that I took was from the 9th inning when it was tied. So that's how, it was just a photo for me, but now it's kind of integral to tell the story. And I pulled this photo out the other night, not realizing that I had this photo. Because as people know, this was like the high anxiety moment of holy crap. They gave up all those runs. They were so far ahead. How could they possibly blow this? And then, who played Hatterberg? Was it Chris Pratt? Yeah. And then Chris Pratt comes up to bat. And so here he is, Chris Pratt at the bat, Hatterberg at bat. This is the home run. This is not a picture that I moved to the wire. I was there for the AP. And as a stringer, it's rare that you get put on a big game. They usually send all their staffers there in the Bay Area. I think they had 5 or 6 staffers. And even though I was kind of worked my way up to be the #1 stringer because of the game the night before, I was given the third base field location. And then I think they had 2 other photographers there as well. But I was so honored, frankly, to be able to be given a field position. It was a huge deal. So not a photo that I would have moved. No bat, no ball, no face, no photo. However, and then this was a photo that I just pulled out the other night. I didn't realize that I had it. Hatterberg running down, celebrating, jubing, and then I really feel like this photo and this next series of photos, maybe I had some small influence on the movie because I haven't seen too many other photos of this, even though I know there are other people shooting it there. Believe me, there was a lot of photos there photo folks there that night. But him running around, swinging his fist like this, such an iconic moment from them winning 20. And of course, I just dumped as he ran around the base. I just followed him because the hero is always the guy, the hero of the game is always the guy that hits the ball. The hero of the game is never the guy that scores the run. And then him celebrating, thanking people as he walks off, and that's it. So that, in a nutshell, in an hour and 15-minute nutshell, is baseball. This is the gear that I use. I take this gear pretty much to every game. I have a laptop that I take, my backpack that I actually got from Nick. It weighs about 60 pounds when I have all the gear in it that I take. You all are welcome to come up and look at the stuff. I do have, and these were gotten at the time, Terrible Towel, or whatever it is, from the race. Well, there you go. 2001, not quite the race. With the receipt, I paid $10 for the Bonds 600 pin. I probably would go for more than that now, I'm guessing. In the bag that I bought it in. This was not intentional, by the way. I'm just a bit of a hoarder, as my wife can attest to. Also in the bag, I have two of the Bonds 71st home run pins. The media pin from the World Series, from the 2002 World Series that the Giants gave us. Another Bond 71 home run pin. And lastly, what is this? Yeah, we were given, I don't know where I got this actually, 1998 Hall of Fame induction pin. I don't know where I got this, but it's in this bag for some reason. So there we are. All still with the original bags. It adds quite a bit of provenance, let me tell you. My passes, this is my first pass that I ever got from the Williamsport Cubs. This was given to me by Gabe, who is now my boss. And with the 94 Phillies season credential as well, where I worked at the Milton Standard, because I was doing freelancing in the evenings for all the local papers. The Milton Standard was where I worked. They didn't have the AP, so they got me credentials and I could go to other parks and take photos. Red Baron's credential were from the Danville News from 1996 season. I went to a bunch of games there. This is credentials from the Spikes 2023 season, as well as the Cutters. UPI credential from the Super Bowl that I shot. World Series credentials from Reuters. Yes, Reuters for away and home. And credentials from the Mets and Yankees season credentials. The Mets and Yankees for, what is this, 2006. That's the spring training that I covered right when my son was born. Yes, I got out of early days of my son being an infant to go to spring training because, hey, it was my job.
Let's take some questions.
Yes, please.
Let's get, the group.
Any questions?
Yeah, how about Jamie Flick? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a pet peeve, and I want to see if you agree with it. And that is when they started allowing men or women, whatever, with video cameras following the players around all the way to home base, because you can't get a picture now if you're in the stands of somebody crossing home plate with.
My wife is laughing. We will literally scream at the TV, "Get the F out of the way! You're ruining the..." Like literally every single time. I hate that. I hate it with a passion. If people stayed in the photo areas, everyone gets the photo. No one gets blocked. they should stay where the heck, really, but everyone's got to get that wide angle photo for it. I mean, this is entertainment. This is not news. Sports is not news. Sports is entertainment. It is a TV show. And they think they have to get that angle. There's nothing, probably nothing that pisses me more off, except maybe ketchup on hot dogs, but that's a whole other.
Mike Ruther, Mike.
Yep.
Oh, Dave, now you've photographed a lot of different sports.
I photographed basically every sport except the Olympics.
Is baseball the easiest for you, your favorite? Or how would you put baseball into perspective in your career?
It's easier than most of them because you get such a variety of light to work with. As you can see, I'm usually looking for light. That's what I'm always looking for. For football, you don't usually get as much differential in light because it's usually after dark, so that's kind of bummer. For hockey, I've shot lots of hockey from high school to college, obviously NHL, and you get no light. It's all just action and reaction, the big splat against the boards, that sort of thing. Baseball is a cookout every night at the game. That's how I look at it. And you're there to cover the cookout, the community cookout that night.
Yeah, right here, Sean.
Were you there for the famed Barry Bonds versus Eric Gagne at bet?
I don't know. Again, I'm not that much of a baseball person because when I'm at a game, if you can believe it or not, unless I'm focused on getting that moment of the like the 600th home run or whatever, and I'm just photographing the game, I often don't know what the score is. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm looking for the players doing their thing. I'm looking for the light. Unless it's a specific thing that I'm there to cover, I'm just covering the game. I'd go to NFL games and not know what the score was, and I'd have to go in the media room at Giants or wherever. What the hell's the score? I don't even know.
Come on out here.
Yep.
Yeah, Brenda.
Is there a particular baseball player or a game that you wish you would have shot and you weren't there?
Probably Jeter diving into the stands. Karen actually got a really great photo of Jeter's the play in Oakland. We were both there for that play when he ran. Jeter's the best player. Got to be one of the best players ever.
That weird flip.
He ran from second freaking base to behind home plate and somehow made that, and everyone was like, wait, why is Jeter in this play at home? What the heck is going on? And I was in center field for that. Karen got a really great photo because she was in what's called the suicide dugout in front of the backstop, like totally basically in play. And she got a really great photo. It was all backs, but you knew it was from that moment. That was the picture. And she got Jeter, she got all of the people in that moment, and the ball in between them, perfectly framed in between players. Fantastic photo. But that probably, aside from some of the old-timer stuff, I wish I would have been able to shoot some of the Negro League stuff.
Don Larson.
That would have been amazing to see.
But Don Larson.
Yeah, or Don Larson, yeah.
You said you took a lot of pictures up here at the Cutters when the kids were coming out, the Little League kids coming out. You sat there and took a lot of
Hundreds.
How fast did you delete the ones that, you know what I'm saying?
I don't delete.
Oh, you don't?
I save.
You got everything?
Yeah, photographers, Nick was shaking his head. Yeah, we don't do that.
You must have a lot of thumb drives and all this stuff.
Yeah, I have a lot of hard drives at home. I have all of my pictures from pretty much every game since I've been shooting for the Sun Gazette in the modern, because I had about 25 or so years in between starting at my career at the Sun Gazette as a darkroom tech to coming back during the pandemic. So that's where I have the most photos is since I started in 2021. I have terabytes of photos. I have certainly every Cutters game, every photo I take. I delete some of the clearly out of focus ones, but most of the stuff I keep. 99%, I keep almost everything.
Let's take one more question. Diane.
Dave, you said that when you were in college, you had an epiphany, if you will,
Mhm.
and realized that photography was what you needed to do.
Yes, thanks to
What
Bill Clinton.
What was your major at the time?
It was advertising art. We graduated from WAC. I have an advertising art degree, and we went to, and then so we graduated from there. Both Karen and I did, and we went to Bloom, and we took photography there. I figured, well, I'll take photo as a major because my girlfriend was taking it, and so we went on a field trip. Just a field trip, not talking about politics here, folks, to DC to photograph a pro-choice march in DC. I had a Pentax K1000, essentially, and one lens, and we were there to cover, or not cover, but just as a photo class, go take photos of, you know, this big national event, just as kind of a photo class. And I saw this huge truck coming at us during the parade, and there was all these photographers on the truck. And I thought, oh, what's going on here? And it was a line of people walking at us, and the candidate before he was still governor, Bill Clinton, was there. And I made 2 or 3 frames of him. Somehow I got in front of this whole crowd, which is you don't do as a photographer. It's very taboo to get in other people's photos unintentionally, or intentionally rather. And I got a picture of Bill Clinton that I still have. It was a very clear picture of Bill. He was looking kind of at me-ish with a sign, and you could see some buildings in the background, black and white. And that at that moment, I thought, oh shit, I like that aspect of photography more than just art. You know, you get art kind of as a happenstance of the, you know, the light in photos and the shadow and pretty scenics and things like that. But I love getting the moment, and that happened to be getting the moment, even though I wasn't there to do photojournalism. But I kind of unintentionally came about it from doing that, and I got there at that moment.
How many times do you share those photos with the subjects?
I don't usually get the chance to.
I'm just curious because
I do share a
when
lot.
they know you're shooting them, do they ever ask you?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I share on my Facebook page. I have galleries of photos for each season. I do galleries, or albums, they call them on Facebook. I do albums for every season, like fall season sports. I add to it now. I do put a fair amount online. Not everything. I mean, I take from Little League World Series, the 2 weeks of the series, including the Classic. I think I took 20,000 frames last year, individual frames. The most I ever took one day, I think, was 5,000 frames in one day. So a lot. And again, I keep all those just in case, because you never know when, you know, I shot, Karen and I actually shot, if you all knew, he was a running back, I guess, for the Ravens, Ray Rice, for a little while. I photographed him, Karen and I did, in high school, for New Rochelle High School. She went with me. She was like 8 months pregnant at the time. And she came in with me to the locker room. We took lights in and posed him. And then I went later that week and had dinner with him and his mom in their apartment in New Rochelle. We ate greens and ham and whatever else. And it was pretty interesting. And, you know, and then I, you know, do share pictures like that. People ask me all the time, and the cutters own my photos. You know, I'm not, I mean, they don't care if you know, obviously the paper gets the photos that I send them. I send them tons of photos. They maybe only use 2 or 3. But so the paper owns the photos, or the team owns the photos. I'm paid to be there by the team. So I can't really give them, I shouldn't give them to people because the team sells them to people. So I don't want to undercut them. You know, I'm paid for my time. You know, I get a little bit of money. It's not like, you know, I'm making tons of money from this. Because the money goes back into gear or eating out or gas or, you know, taking my son out or whatever. It's like, you know, it's a nice little bit of extra income. I do it because it is the most satisfying thing I've ever done. And now that I've been doing this about 30 years, there's a YouTube song, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And now, after about 30 years, this is a good place to stop, I am starting to find what I was looking for. I didn't know what that song was about until I got to my 50s. I'm 54 now, and I thought I was getting the photos that were meaningful, but I really wasn't. I really wasn't stepping back, getting that wide shot, getting the players' interactions, getting that fun stuff that I showed so much of, getting the scenics, getting the sunsets. That's the stuff that I like doing. The action's going to come, but getting those more fulfilling kind of next level photos, that's what I'm always looking for. You got to get the action. That's basics. That's par. But the eagles and the double eagles, or whatever in golf terms, I've shot a lot of pro golf too, by the way. That's what you want, and that's what I've been looking for. And I'm finally starting to get that stuff. And it's taken me all these years to be able to get it. Some really good photographers do this when they first start out, not me. So
Dave Kennedy, as a person and as a professional, we thank you for your clarity, your message, and presence. And we thank you for your literal and figurative spirit. And in that way, I thank Dave Kennedy, his wife Karen, his mom, his son. I thank his colleagues and professionals from the Sun Gazette today. I thank you. I thank the Crosscutters organization and your friends who are here. You pointed out one of the great moments, of Tejada. One of the great moments with Tejada. I want to say